It's absolutely fascinating to actually observe one's progress in life. Over the last 2 days, including today, my ex-boyfriend has taken it upon himself to to like and then unlike one of my posts on Twitter, and then to like another and leave the like in place. He wasn't running away from that one. And I just think what goes on in people's minds is absolutely, it's hilarious, really. You know, that we spent from beginning to end 4.5 years, you know, wrangling and toing and froing and working out what each of us wanted, you know, in the relationship. You know, I don't normally do this kind of, don't like to do it, because I like solid things. And after everything that he and I went through, that, you know, liking a couple of posts on Twitter, well, it's not really good. It's not good enough. It's not substantial. It's not meaningful. And if you're going to find a way back in, well, it has to be more grown up, has to be more adult. And believe me, I've played games with people, I can't deny it. I've tried to provoke reactions and, you know, try and figure people out, and I've also tried to placate people. But what I see is, no matter what age people actually are, most of them are children. They're children playing games, and I'm for having fun in life. I'm all about bringing a sense of playfulness, but I'm not a child. I'm not naive. I've always been aware of what I've been doing, but a lot of my behaviour has been out of a profound sense of optimism and understanding. But for a relationship to be really adult, well, both parties have to be adult, and you can't make people do things, and also you can't explain away bad behavior and expect people just to kind of miraculously change and be on the same page as you. You can't. And in the beginning, when you start to figure this out, I certainly am, it feels very, very disappointing, because being an idealist and an optimist, and frankly an unbridled perfectionist for most of my life, I think, oh God, you know, could have had this or could have had that. And the harsh reality of the truth, particularly when you make these realizations, is really brutal. It can feel very, very upsetting. But the truth is that with a prime opportunity of rekindling contact, I have absolutely no desire to. And once my ex had liked the second post, I left it for a little while, just to sort of sit and be in the driving seat in this situation, to actually realize, no, I don't want that in my life anymore. I don't want to play games with somebody who's in his 50s. I think, no, I just want grown-ups. And this is going to sound really pessimistic, but there aren't that many grown-ups. There are people who make relationships work because they're both at a similar level of sort of neediness or willingness to put up with certain amounts of bullshit. But that's not me, you know. I'm really not about making excuses or living life in half measures or explaining away what is actually really abhorrent and irritating behaviour. I have fundamentally decided that I am worth a lot more than that, and I have a powerful calling to make my life as fantastic as possible. And if you're engaged, if you're lost in the weeds of of trying, you know, to make the very best of particular situations, you know, particular relationships and entanglements that you're in, well, I'm afraid that just takes up all of your energy that could be far more wisely and joyfully spent. I recently tweeted that investment is far better than spending. You know, a lot of people spend money, and there was a recent tweet actually that Donald Trump was trying to incentivize people to have more babies by giving them a $5,000 bonus. And there was somebody who was commenting on this that, oh, well, you know, people will take the $5,000 and it'll be gone in 6 months, he said. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is really, really optimistic. That's even more optimistic than even I can imagine, because $5,000 in 6 months, try 6 minutes, people could spend that amount of money before they even blinked. You know, so we all know that politics, all of the, you know, there were canvassers at my door this morning for the most irritating of parties in the UK, the Liberal Democrats, who are just, I mean, communist light, who just want to overturn every single good decision we've made in the last 10 years, and want to increase taxes and just do all this stuff. And you know, you see the pantomime of it all, and I see the pantomime of my relationship with my ex, because there was no real relationship there, and there was no real discussion. It was a brief moment in time for me, frankly, to learn lessons. Clearly, he hasn't learned any lessons, because what I've always wanted is to be respected, but actually that's a passive position to take. What I am actually doing now is respecting myself, defining boundaries that I know are good and right and just, and imposing those myself. And there will be people that won't be happy about that because, you know, they don't respect boundaries. But I do. I'm doing that for myself, and I know ultimately that will attract all of the right things into my life. So don't fall for the same mistakes over and over and over again. Start to stand up for yourself, and stand up for yourself in your whole life, because it is your life. And I remind myself of that far more so, and I actually live it far more so now. And I encourage you to do the same, because just like I deserve to be respected, you deserve to be respected in your own life as well.